So on our casual side, we have the Explorer, Explorer XL, and the Pivot. Now these models obviously have more of a Wayfarer inspiration. They are all what we call a 6-base or the 6-base wrap. The temples themselves are not as tall as our performance side. That's one of the main reasons that they're not marked ANSI Z87 Plus or Z87.1. Now they all have rubber overmolded temple pads except for the Pivot. They all have rubber overmolded nose pads and also come with a variety of lens colors and mirror combinations, but they do not have clear like on our performance side. Now when it comes to sizes, the Explorer would be considered a medium or a true medium. The Explorer XL would be considered a large. It's honestly like the Explorer's bigger brother. The Pivot would be considered a small. A great option for either smaller faces or, in this case, a woman's sunglass. It fits perfectly. It does not have rubber overmolded nose or temple pads, so it makes it a little bit better when it comes to longer hair. On our level 1 performance, we have 3 models. We have the Rift, the Ascent, and the Apex. Now the intent with the level 1 performance line was a aggressive Z87 Plus ballistic rated eyewear, but not so aggressive as our level 2 performance side. You could wear these at, let's say, to and from work, but also go to the range and have Z87 Plus ballistic protection. So on our level 1 performance side, we'll start with the Ascent. These feature 8-base wrap, so a much higher wrap than, let's say, our casual side. These also feature taller temples, and this is a large part of reason why they have ANSI Z87 Plus rating. The Z87 Plus rating can be found on the inside of the temple, so it's clearly identified as such. The Ascents also have rubber overmolded temple pads. And again, this isn't like a tacky rubber, so it's not going to pull or snag on your hair. And they also have rubber overmolded nose pads. Again, it's not going to pull or snag, especially if you are wearing them for long periods of time. Now, when it comes to size, the Ascent would be considered a small to medium. Now, the Apex is essentially the Ascent's bigger brother, so this would be considered a medium to large or a large. Again, 8-base wrap, so much higher than our casual line. Rubber overmolded temple pads. This does have an ANSI Z87 Plus rating, and it's clearly identified on the inside of the temple. And then rubber overmolded nose pads. And lastly, we have the Rift. Now on the size, the Rift would be considered a large. I actually wear a medium, but I prefer the Rifts. The Rift is again, a higher wrap, an 8-base, but I would say out of the level 1 performance side, it's probably the most casual one or less aggressive than the Ascent and Apex. It features extremely tall temples that not only help block debris, but also a lot of stray light. So this is a very popular one, let's say for fishermen, just trying to increase or decrease the amount of stray light that's hitting the eye. These do not have rubber overmolded temple pads, but they do have rubber overmolded nose pads. And again, they are Z87 Plus rated, and it's clearly identified on the inside of the temple. Now, on our level 2 performance side, these would be considered our most professional use. Now, in these models, we have the Defiant, the Radius, and the Helix. The most important thing to note that these are all Z87 Plus ballistic rated eyewear. Now, starting with the Radius, this is a higher wrap, so 8-base. The temples themselves are extremely tall. This does not have a rubber overmolded temple pads, but it does have rubber overmolded nose pads. The Radius is clearly marked ANSI Z87 Plus on the inside of the temple. The interesting thing about the Radius is that these frames are much more robust than probably every model that we have out. And it does have kind of a goggle-like feel, which makes them kind of the perfect accessory for, let's say, going out on the range and shooting. Now the Helix is another ANSI Z87 Plus rated ballistic eyewear. Now the first thing you'll notice is that these are rimless. So these lenses are removable and can be replaced. We sell individual lenses on our website. Now the reason why we made these lenses removable, so let's say you're shooting during the day and then you're going to no light to low light conditions, you can go from a gray lens to a clear lens. Now this process, we made it very easy. Basically place your finger in the nose pad, pull the lens out of the frame, and then hook the lens into the back of the frame, and then pop it back into the nose pad. Now these frames do feature rubber overmolded temple pads, rubber overmolded nose pads that are extremely flexible due to the fact that they are rimless, and then they are clearly marked ANSI Z87 Plus on the temples. They're also marked ANSI Z87 Plus on the individual lenses, which are a requirement for this type of ballistic rating. Now the final model in the level 2 performance line is the Defiant. The Defiant really is a high performance piece of eyewear. The first thing that you notice is that it is frameless. So the temples themselves are completely separate and they are individual. The temples and the nose pads are removable. Again, we did this so that you can switch lenses out. If you're going from high light to either low light or no light conditions, you can go from a gray to, let's say, a clear. Now, going through this process, the inside of the temple has a lever. You simply lift up on the lever and then pull the temple off. And then same with the other one. And we'll do the same for the nose pad. Simply pinch and remove it. Install the nose pad first. Now this is ANSI Z87 Plus ballistic rating. It does have rubber overmolded temple pads. Now we went with a much longer overmold so it can fit a variety of face sizes and shapes. The nose pads are obviously rubber overmolded. It's an individual piece. They are highly flexible. Again, we did this so they fit a wide variety of face shapes and sizes. And then the ANSI Z87 Plus ballistic rating is clearly annotated on the inside of the temple. Again, very much like the Helix, there are huge benefits when it comes to rimless or frameless sunglasses, not only with airflow, but also flexibility being probably one of the most important elements, and also just the shedding of sweat, which makes them easy to clean and also doesn't impede your view. We've packed a lot into our eyewear line over the years. We've evolved designs and increased capabilities on every model we've released. If you were to compare similar sunglasses from your favorite premium brands, you'd be hard-pressed to find significant differences between ours and theirs, except that in one area we have definitely created real value. We believe that all of our eyewear in our casual line and our performance line possess high-performance features at a premium price. So if you want to learn more about our entire performance eyewear line, please visit magpul.com.